Hello again, everybody. Welcome to SC Playbook, the EPL edition. We're back with you. My name's Alex Molchanoff. That is Matt Jurman with me again, mate. How was the double week? Everything come through nice and swimmingly? I can spot a couple of big scores amongst your midfield there.
Yeah. I mean, I traded in big Bruno, so he came in the last game very nicely for me. I didn't captain him like I said I was thinking about, but that could have been big change in the game week and my score, but overall quite happy with everything.
Timing is everything in Supercoach. You have found it in number. Phil Foden performing again as well.
Yep. Foden 23 points in the last game week, which was nice. He's been on fire. I think everyone's going to flock to get him in now, so it won't be too much of a differential. But Munoz was also out, which was a late one I didn't really see coming. But I had the Senesi 14 points come in for me, which was nice.
Yeah. A little bit of luck to go with a good timing always helps as well. And I'll hold my hands up now. The Bruno Fernandes campaign, it's over. He's proven me wrong. He's going to be moving into that 10 position. All the campaigning against him. Well, I need to find a way to get there, which will be part of our discussion today. I've got a couple of moves I can make to make it happen, but got to move quickly before the price rises, quite like Phil Foden's did. And it's looking as though it's going to get even higher. He's sitting around 15.3 as we sit here recording on Wednesday afternoon. It could be 18 by the time we are sitting here in 2-3 weeks.
That's the highest anyone's ever been.
That's the projection. I'm guessing there'll be a Mo Salah at some stage in the past where he would have been around that, but the run that Foden has been on, scored consecutive weeks of 20-plus points, it has been quite remarkable. And as Steve Nikolowski and Timmy Williams told you, filling in for us last week, between the midweek game and the quick weekend fixtures, you've got to find a way to get there at the moment. He's becoming Erling Haaland Mark II.
Must get. Yeah, I think you need him in your team. He's getting those attacking stats, and Man City are looking good as well, so get him in your team.
Hopefully, if you've been listening to this every week, you did it, because I didn't. So there's two standout midfielders. You told me. I was telling myself. I was sitting here agreeing with you week on week, and
just forgot to pull the trigger.
Well, there were other trades that were more pressing, and that's always the way, isn't it?
Who did you bring in?
Well, Mikel Merino's made me a nice bit of cash, but I didn't have anywhere else to really go, Matty.
Merino's
I could have
actually
moved.
a very good trade in. That was
So he'll probably be gone over the next few weeks. Subbed off at half-time against in that last game against Villa for Gyökeres. I think there's going to be a turnover, as we discussed a couple of weeks ago with Jesus making his way back to fitness as well. Anyway, we're getting off topic. We'll get into all of that as we go down this afternoon. Remember, the SC Playbook Unlimited League is still open. $1,000 first prize. If you're an SC Playbook subscriber, you can find all the details for that on our social pages. And to become a subscriber, SC Playbook Community costs just $2 a week. NFL, NBA getting underway as well. Cricket season, the BBL starts this week. Timmy and the boys have been all across that for the last few weeks in the build-up there. Gets you access to premium deep dive articles. The WhatsApp community goes off with late updates. So if you don't realise that, who did you have missing? Munoz got sent through on the group chat. We'll be able to set you up and make sure that you don't miss it. And, well, Michael Senesi, look at him just clutch up. Thankfully, I had him in this week as well. But the WhatsApp community is there. Plenty of discussion. There's a bit going on during the World Cup draw on the weekend as well with the people. So if you're just a football fan, get on there. If you're a sports fan, get on there. $2 a week. That's all it costs. scplaybook.com.au. Subscribe in the menu. Now, before we get to the rest of the discussion we're going to have here, Matty, we have got to start with the story of the week, which was Mohamed Salah walking into the mix zone, stopping for just the third time in his career, talking to Norwegian television, of all things, and basically implicating Arne Slot, the higher-ups at the club, with trying to undermine him and basically move him on. This is something we see in football all the time, but for a player to come out and address it so publicly after only having been dropped a couple of weeks earlier, it's all very bizarre. What did you make of it as a Liverpool fan? Hopefully not too many left in the Supercoach community with Mohamed Salah in their team. But this is the end, my friend.
Yeah, it's disappointing for that to happen, I think even if you don't like Salah and you're a different team fan, I think you would have sort of cringed when you sort of saw that interview. And I don't think it does anyone any favors, including himself, And I don't know, it's hard to watch. Because being in a team, there's times where you're not always playing, and you obviously you're unhappy, and you want to.
Players want to be playing, right?
You want to play, yeah. You got problems with the coach, maybe when you're not playing, and he didn't come on at all that game, and you could see him when he was waving to the crowd. It was like he was done. Like he's made the decision for him. So Carragher's come out and blasted him as well, and I don't know where they go from here with Salah. So obviously he's gone away now, so or soon, yeah. Was it?
Well, he's gone. Yeah, most of the AFCON players, most of them leaving this week. So that might well have been it.
Yeah, it's a bad way to end a top career at Liverpool. The way how many goals he scored, how many trophies they've won. It's disappointing, but yeah, I guess maybe he wasn't thinking when he did the interview, or maybe he was. I don't know. That's what Carragher was saying. He thought it was very tactical from him and his agent to come. When he never does the press conferences, was it 3 or 4 times in his career?
That's right. Yeah, he's not a stopper. So they've got Brighton on the weekend. He said that he's flying his mother out to come and watch that game and basically be part of saying goodbye.
Really?
Well, that was the implication. So he's saying, Mum's coming out to watch this game against Brighton. I don't know if I'm going to be playing, but I'll be off to AFCON after that. Yeah, right. And we'll see from there. What it does open up, and one of the most traded players into the game, we'll bring it back to Supercoach, is Hugo Ekitike sitting there going, hello, baby, here's my starting spot. Yeah. How do you see the lineup going? And can it be more effective now that Salah is gone? Because I think it's fair to say most observers have seen him as a bit of a handbrake, maybe more than a bit, quite a big handbrake on Liverpool, because they're stuck between this new system that Slot, this new partnerships that Slot is trying to bring together, and still that reliance that they've held on him for the past near decade now.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say, because like last season he was very good still, and they won the league.
Yes,
right. So that's why it's hard to understand why it's changed so quickly. Like, he said he's not the problem, but at the same time he wasn't playing as well, and he wasn't bringing in the goals and assists like he normally does as well. So yeah, it's interesting times. He said he's been thrown under the bus as well, which as a teammate, I don't think they would sort of like that.
It wouldn't go down particularly well, would it? In the dressing room?
Yeah, I think obviously the boys would. I think they would like him. Like his confidence and all that. All the goals and assists that he's helped the team with in the past. But at the same time, it's a team game, and you got to be careful with saying those type of things in the media. You can think it, but saying it out loud is not always the best solution.
Well, even you can talk to your agent or people outside the club about it.
And I think someone said
it becomes public.
Someone said that he's been sulking around the place and stuff the last few weeks as well, which is not good. But I mean, I understand you obviously want to play, and I'm a player as well, and I want to play every game. But at the same time, you just got to be careful on how you deal with that situation when you're not. Especially being an experienced player as well.
Yes, he's still a leader in that dressing room, which would bring down the entirety of the team. So they lined up against Leeds. Ekitike playing as the front man. Szoboszlai scored, good for owners. Starting on the right-hand side, I actually don't mind that move whatsoever from his perspective. Then Florian Wirtz was starting in behind Ekitike with Cody Gakpo on the left. Now, they've all got their merits, these 4 players across Supercoach. And then if you have a look at the guys that they brought off the bench, Alexander Isak is in that group. Alexis McAllister, I think less of a Supercoach option, but a very good player. How are you, if I'm throwing all those names to you, as a Liverpool fan, how are you lining them up? What's your thought on what Arne Slot's first 11 will be going into this busy Christmas period?
I wouldn't mind seeing 2 up front.
Yeah, right.
Like they've paid that much money for both of them. Like, why don't just try something different?
Ekitike, Isak.
Yeah, see how they work together. Maybe change the formation up a little bit. Try and get Wirtz, more involved. Maybe in a 10 role. I don't know. Maybe like a diamond midfield.
Yeah.
Something like that, just something to activate these attacking players, get crosses into the box, get those two, trying to get on how many crosses they can. There's some good people in the team that can
plenty of height with Ekitike and Isak as well, right?
Yeah. So I mean, it's up to him. He's obviously getting paid the most money, to sort that out as a coach. But that's what I would like to see.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. That's left field.
Something different.
Yeah, a bit different. That's for sure. I think Ekitike is going to retain his spot in the team, at least for the short term. So if you're looking for a little bit of cash up front, and I don't know how many people are still in that position, but he's certainly one that I think you can move to trade in and look to build that value. I think he's first choice over Isak at the moment. If they are only going to play one...
Well, he played this morning as well.
Yeah. He's got this run in the team. He's come in, he's played well. In contrast to Salah, it sounds like the attitude's been really good because he has been in and out of the team.
Yeah.
And then he comes on and produces two performances like he has over the last week. So I can't see that changing. Soboslai's role is so interesting because I have a vested interest, but just because he's so versatile. So I think he'll find his way in there somehow. Cody Gakpo's spot in that team, I think, is really firmed up now.
Well, I think he's came off injured. I don't know if I read that or not.
Don't tell me.
He came off half time, I think it was.
There we go. Knock. Yep. Okay. So we'll have to wait for some news on that.
A knock could be a couple of days, or it could be a week.
It could be William Saliba. Just he'll be back for the next game. He'll be back for the next game. Oh no, he'll be back for the next game.
Szoboszlai, I think he's someone that I'm looking at bringing in this week.
Yeah,
because he's just so consistent,
and the base stats are there.
Yeah,
he's still scoring output.
He's Liverpool's most formed player this season for me. Like he's very important. I can't see him missing too many games.
Yep. And Viet's, I guess he's just a hole for now, but someone who could explode, right? He's got that much talent, and the work rate is the thing that people have been commented on. It's top level, exactly.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, he's got to be not far from a few goals and assists, surely.
I've looked at some of his performances the last couple of weeks and gone, how is he not?
Yeah.
Because you're right. He's doing everything right off the ball. And I think that's the thing we look at as people who come from football is when players are making those runs and being enterprising, unless there's obvious moments.
Surely soon it's got to
it's got to turn.
End results for him. So
it's going to be very interesting to watch. Yeah, Liverpool are a really intriguing watch just from a footballing perspective. Any worries about the defence just quickly? Because there were a few who moved for Virgil van Dijk a few weeks ago. There's a couple who have been scared off. Not too many at the moment in the top tier because he's still set to make cash as long as there's a clean sheet over the next couple of weeks. Any worries there? Like, it's still not been figured out, right? Konate is not solid next to him.
Yeah.
And even his decision-making in different moments has been questioned.
Yeah, I agree. But big clean sheet over against Inter Milan this morning, which was good.
Just need to carry that over.
Yeah, I mean it's worrying. Obviously the form from just the whole team, but the back line in particular hasn't been great like they usually were last year, for example. So yeah, I was one of the ones that brought Van Dijk in. Like I'm sure many others with that price, you couldn't give up on that. So yeah, I think they got Brighton this week, and then they go into
very busy period with everyone else. Spurs away, Wolves at home, and Leeds at home. They should be. You would like to think two in there, right? Yeah. You would like to think two in there. And if Virgil can get himself on the score sheet as well, that'll just give his confidence a little bit of a boost as well. Let's go to Manchester City, and particularly to Phil Foden. So we've mentioned him off the top of the podcast. He's sitting at, I had him low, 15.3. Make that 15.86 million as he's sitting here. As I said, the projections have him up to 18 mil by the end of this run that City have. Palace, West Ham, Forest, Sunderland. So I'm trying to map out a bit of a way to get there ASAP. I don't think I'm going to be able to do it this week because the guy I want to move him for in my midfield is Mikel Moreno.
Yep.
They're facing Wolves this week. It doesn't make it doesn't make sense with them going against the worst team in the competition with his starting spot likely still there.
Yeah, of course. What's his break even?
A break even still that is 6. So if he plays, I'd say he makes that up. Whereas Foden is going to face Palace, who have been a little bit down on form recently. They got the win over Fulham on the weekend, but I don't think by any stretch it was a fine performance.
Palace top 4.
Yeah, they're going very well. Don't get me wrong. I don't think they're quite the threat they were, say, 3-4 weeks ago, though, to a team like Manchester City.
Yeah, for sure.
In terms of what they've been producing defensively. So
interesting game that would be.
Oh, very much so. I'm sort of just spitballing to you here, Matty. Yeah, my other options, I think I'm going to need to move someone and downgrade. So my other thought was move on Senesi, who's taken on Manchester United this week. Bring in Dan Burn before the big price rise, which seems to be coming for Newcastle, and that should give me enough cash. I had a look at doing it this week. I don't think I'm going to have it, but I'm risking Moreno going there. Otherwise, I'm moving out a player up front. I don't have anybody of that greater value other than a Declan Rice or maybe a Dominic Szoboszlai, Bruno Guimaraes that can get me there.
What's your three up front?
Three up front is Erling Haaland, Morgan Rogers, and Nick Voltamato. So I've only got that one premium. The other two are sort of mid-ranges.
I'd be keeping those if I were you.
Yes, I tend to agree. I think their value is going to be growing. I would love to get to Foden. I think I'm going to be able to do it next week, but stay updated and see how we get there. It's going to be giving up one of those premiums, though, which is
Declan
difficult.
Rice is one that you want to keep probably for the whole season almost. He's up there with points, and they've got a good draw coming as well.
Arsenal assets at the moment are still right up there. Just looking at it, he's fifth highest scorer in the game at the moment. Mark Gay is just snuck up there. Munoz has obviously been up there for Crystal Palace, but he's sitting there as well. Foden is creeping up that list week on week, and I think that's only going to accelerate as we get towards the Christmas period. Just a question on Daniel Munoz for yourself. How are you feeling about it? Because he's very highly owned. How long are you willing to wait for this knock to improve before you think about redistributing his cash?
Well, what's the information on the knock? Because I read a few things in the group that were a bit unsure about if it was actually a knock or something else.
So the word from Oliver Glasner is he said he had swelling around his knee, always a bad sign, but that he had rested him because of the swelling around his knee. So that's about as much public information on the record as we've got from Palace at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, he's highly owned, and he's also 13.5 mil. So that's someone that I was sort of not wanting to trade out anytime soon. I can sort of hold him until I get a bit more information. Senesi can always come in if he doesn't play again this week. I think the defence for me is I'm going to hold on that for a while. For a few weeks at least. The ones that I'm looking at trading in are a Szoboszlai in for Harvey Barnes probably. And either Gapko or Mateta out for a Saka or Thiago.
Okay, we'll get into those a little bit further because I've still got a couple of things I want to throw at you. Arsenal, their rotation has been going berserk over the last couple of weeks. So they threw in different combinations. Martin Odegaard is back. Eberechi Eze played 45 minutes in the game on the weekend. Mikel Moreno had the same thing happen to him. And Ricardo Calafiori was taken off at halftime in their midweek game. So obviously the Villa game didn't go to plan. It was their first loss in 16 games, which has been a remarkable run for Mikel Arteta's side. They've just been so difficult to beat. The only players I've sort of got bedded down at the moment as starters for them week on week Saka, Odegaard, and Rice, and then once Gabriel and Saliba come back from their injuries, I think that you can, and Raya as well. So there's sort of six, but the others around them, I'm very wary at the moment as a Calafiori owner about just how much he's going to be flicked in and out of the side. And I wrote about this in the article I did a couple of weeks ago. He looked to have bed down that place as first choice, but I think Arsenal are going to rotate fairly heavily over the next few weeks. And that's the other reason I'm feeling uneasy about Moreno at the moment as well. We've talked about the striking options, but I just think there are so many options in that squad with the players they're getting back healthy, that some of those assets people were very set on are becoming less so, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think maybe Arteta's thinking like with the easier games coming up, maybe he can give a few of the boys that haven't been playing week in, week out some game time to keep them happy, because as a coach it's very hard to keep everyone happy in the team, as you can see with Liverpool at the moment.
Yeah.
So yeah, he might find a time where he obviously doesn't want these players to get injured as well from playing too much. So yeah, the fullback's interesting at the moment with Timber as well. He's in my team, but I'm not sure if he's going to be starting every week. So it's a bit of a risk.
Yeah. That's a lot going on there, isn't there? I wonder, see, Timber, I think, is in a very similar situation to Calafiori, right? Where he's first choice, but they're going to be
with games,
moving these guys around over different periods. So I just wonder, I look at someone like a Dan Burn at the moment, and the guys were very high on him, Nico and Timmy, when they did the podcast on Thursday. But I tend to agree. I just think his value is going to go up and up and up. And he's someone who will be starting either as a central defender for Newcastle, or if he does need to start as a fullback, he can do that as well. Yeah. The versatility helps you.
Yeah, and what's his price at the moment?
Let's get it up. Sorry, I was just looking at strikers quickly. He's still at 5.6. Yeah, he's still at 5.6. So
it's a good price.
And the break-even is 6, but he's got a Tyne-Wear derby this weekend against Sunderland. And then they go Chelsea United, Burnley, Palace, Leeds. So if you can ride through that Chelsea game, which is at home at St James's Park as well, United aren't quite the threat, and then Burnley, Palace, Leeds, that is very attractive around Christmas time.
Yeah, I mean, do you sort of wait until after the Man United game, or do you come in now and try and get him in early? Like there's a chance that Newcastle can do well in those games, but I'm actually interested to watch that Sunderland game.
Oh, big time. They're always fun. It's been the first one in the Premier League for a little while. Yeah, I tend to move early, and I've moved early for a lot of guys. It's not worked this year, so maybe take that advice with a grain of salt. But I'm looking at my backline at the moment. Not particularly balanced with De Kuyper in there. Senesi, there's been questions over Bournemouth, although I think I'm going to be proven. I've given up on the Fernandes take, but I'm not giving up on that one. I think that Bournemouth are going to find their way around things. And then Van Dijk, Calafiori, I just have no certainties there. So I'm no one I'm particularly attached to, which is not the case further up the pitch. So if you are looking at, when I'm looking at my trades at the moment, that's what's coming into my focus.
Yeah, I think someone else that has just come back from a long injury as well is Cole Palmer.
Yes.
And so that's someone that, I mean, I didn't watch the Chelsea game, so I didn't see how he went, but I think they'll gradually build him up. Probably won't start him maybe every game, but obviously someone that Chelsea rely on quite heavily to get their attack going, and he's not a bad price at the moment as well. No,
certainly not, but looked... 58 minutes. He's been out for a very long time, right? He's not fully fit. I actually think Delap's injury, I don't think he's the answer. Yeah. More than it was just an advantage because Joao Pedro was getting time, and we're looking at it from a Supercoach perspective going, oh, this is nice. I actually don't think he's the answer up front for Enzo Maresca. No. So that's going to be an interesting watch. I think Palmer will improve now that he was a stopper for me in terms of what they were doing. They got Mark Gui there as well, who they signed from Sunderland in the off-season. He's a 19-year-old, but probably a little bit more mobile. I think has that ceiling to get there. Another really good point. It actually brings us into the next thing I wanted to touch on before we get to some of the most traded and walk in that. Some of the returning injured stars, and you mentioned Palmer, so that's a great place to start. He's sitting around that 8.13 million mark at the moment, probably one of the higher price ones. But if you're looking to get away from a Mikel Merino or the like, a Harvey Barnes, I think is still sitting up around that price range as well at the moment.
10 mil, yeah.
Yeah, so that could be an option for you if you're moving sideways. We'll get you to lock that in before the end of the podcast, Matty. The other couple that had caught my eye, Ekitike, we've talked about, 2 goals on the weekend, 4.7 mil, I think is about to walk into that Liverpool team with Liverpool losing Salah. Ollie Watkins, getting back on the score sheet, was someone that Plenty started the season with, has fallen away, but seems to have won his starting position back from Daniel Marlin. He's returning to full fitness. Villa are getting a roll on. That all bodes well. What are your thoughts on Ollie when he's fit and firing?
I mean, I love watching him play. I think he's a good striker. I had him, I think, at the start as well, and he's I thought he was going to come good, just similar to what everyone thought with Salah as well, and held on to him a bit too long. But yeah, I think I was quite surprised actually to see Villa, how high they were on the table.
They've rebounded completely under the radar. It's those Saturday 3:00 games that no one's watching, and they've just been winning them, totting up those results.
Yeah, because they said they started the season pretty slow, and then they've just getting results back to back. So yeah, no, he could be a great option coming in, especially at his price. If anyone wants to downgrade, and I don't know what Villa's games are. Where are they?
Well, here we go. West Ham away.
West Ham away.
United at home. I think at home now they are going to be back to their irrepressible best. The performance they put in against Arsenal was as good as I'd seen them this season. Chelsea away, Arsenal away, a little bit tougher, but particularly those next two matches look very, very winnable, and solid performances. The other place I'd be looking is their back line, because I think they're going to start totting up clean sheets. Pau Torres was a favourite for FPL players last year because he's got goal scoring ability as well.
Matty Cash.
And he's playing. Matty Cash, who was very popular at the start of the year. Even Ezri Konsa, he's a funny one because he's someone who, when Villa are playing badly, he
still
seems to be so I was going to go the other way. I always think he ends up on the ground and he's sort of flapping his arms around. But against Arsenal, he was superb. Really was. So it's going to be a watch as well. I wouldn't say dive in for their defensive players at the moment, Villa, but they're definitely a team that I am very high on going forward. The other one, who I want to get your thoughts on, is Martin Odegaard, because that could be a source of a downgrade for me to try and build some cash and make a double move through my midfield to get up to Phil Foden.
What's he priced at?
Sitting down around the 5 mil mark at the moment. So
4.9, yeah, wow.
My worry is he wasn't scoring particularly well before the shoulder injury.
Yeah.
But now has put in a good performance, got himself an assist. The break-even's -1. I think his price is going to elevate. I just wonder if there's better options in that position at the moment. 4.9 mil. I think the upside's there.
Yeah, I think there's not many options that you will find
around that price
in midfield at the moment. And an Arsenal team that's playing against Wolves as well.
Yeah,
I mean that could be a big
even
score.
if you don't want to start Odegaard because you're a bit hesitant about what'll happen. I think the price rise is going to come.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree. I think he's too good of a player to not start too many games for Arsenal now that he's back. So at that price, anyone could take a gamble there and downgrade someone like Harvey Barnes or,
keep an
else.
eye. Yeah. Keep an eye. That's all we'll say there. Right, let's quickly roll through the most traded ins, and then we'll get to our plays for the weekend. Bukayo Saka, top 5% of players have him as their most traded in. 128, 9.72 mil. I think the price plus is probably, fingers crossed, consistent run in the team now has him locked in for that spot. No doubt about it. Cole Palmer is at number 2, so that's a good pickup from you, Matty. 8.16 mil, coming back into form. He's just a hold for me at the moment. Yeah. I need to see more. Chelsea get through this run of games and start really capitalising where they haven't managed to this season and scoring a glut of goals. The way Man City do for Supercoach players when they put a poorer team to the sword and they just go massive. I haven't seen that from Chelsea all year.
Yeah, no, Chelsea's sort of up and down. Sometimes they even lose these games.
Yes.
They expect them to win. So Everton, you never know. They've been good defensively as well. So it should be a good matchup for Palmer to see if he can break down that defence.
Ekitike at 4.7. I love that. If you're looking for a striker around that price range, go for it. He's only going to increase in value over the next few weeks. You're in Timber, someone you've brought in.
Yep.
Feeling okay about him at 7.3 at the moment. I'd almost be urging a hold, but if you're really keen, I'm not going to talk you out.
Yeah, I mean, playing against Wolves, definitely holding.
That's it.
Yeah, the defense for me is pretty locked. If Munoz comes out that he's going to be out for longer, he could be a trade to maybe a Matty Cash maybe. But for now, I'm going to hold on the defence. I think I'm pretty happy with that.
Antoine Semenyo, 6.7 mil. How the mighty has fallen, but that does sometimes present an opportunity. They go away to Manchester United this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I remember talking about him at the start of the season when he was on Flames, and I kept saying you need to get him in somehow. And lucky I didn't because I couldn't afford him. But he's gone down ever since I was saying that. So
it's so variable. So when we talk about defenders and midfielders as guys that can be season-long holds, apart from Haaland, what we're finding with Supercoach is these guys are fluctuating in form over the course of the season. This is looking ahead to next year, and that is a long way away. I think that's where I'm going to be using the majority of my trades, is try and get your defence and your midfield right as early as you can in the season, and then just spend the rest of the year flicking forwards in and out.
Yeah, I agree. I think, those break-evens you got to jump on sometimes, but Semenyo is a player that can easily come back into form. I know he was nursing an injury as well, so that's something that maybe might be affecting him in the last month or two.
Let's just have a quick peek at Bournemouth's fixtures. So, as I said, United away this weekend, then Burnley at home, Brentford away, Chelsea away. It's that sort of run of games where he was scoring goals earlier in the year against the sort of lower teams, and then your Chelseas and your Man Uniteds who were sort of a bit off. Think the Liverpool game. Igor Thiago is still being traded in at 11.5 mil. No surprises there. Szoboszlai, Odegaard we've talked about. And Xavi Simons has just popped his head into the top 10. This is amongst the top 5% of players. A real pod option. Someone I'd say that might be a go if you are looking to jiggle yourself to Phil Foden and need to make a couple of changes and a downgrade. That would be the only way I'm going there. Spurs are still such a stay away for me, given their form at the moment. I can't think you disagree with that.
No, I don't disagree at all. I know that I've been holding Josh King, similar to you, and
he's going to be he's going to feature for me in the next season. Just quietly.
But in saying that, Fulham's got a great fixtures coming up, so I mean, if people are trading him out to Simmons, maybe that's something that they're looking at. Maybe I don't know.
I'll give you a left field one in a minute after we've got through these ones. Mo Salah is the most traded out this week. Cody Gakpo, we've talked about just how he's going to fit into that side. He's got a massive break even this week, which is the reason he's at the top of that list. Harvey Barnes, 10.1. He's featuring in your trades this week, so we'll hold fire there. Eberechi Eze. This is interesting. 11.2 mil. I think people have just looked at the break even here and been frightened off. And it is a 27, but they're playing Wolves. And for all the Arsenal assets we've just mentioned that are about to be rotated out, yes, he's going to lose value. Yes, if you're looking to get to a Phil Foden, maybe he's the guy that you've got to sacrifice, but I mean, I guess if you're listing those guys, if you're listing a Rice, a Foden, who else can you throw in that little sort of canister of midfielders? I think they're the main three at the moment in terms of the main three that are
Minte maybe. People are holding on to him.
So I think I'd have Eze above Minte in that list.
I think so, especially with Arsenal's upcoming games. He's going to lose. He's projected to lose money, but that could easily be a massive score this week.
And it could all turn around with one big score against Wolves or Everton. That's one where I'd urge caution if trading out. Jean-Philippe Mateta has joined that group as well, 8.89. I just think with the other forward options around at the moment, that's sensible. You still holding though?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Playing against City, it's a big ask against, but also, I mean, Fulham put 4 on them, so you never know. I like the way Crystal Palace play as well, so I mean that could be a 3-3 game or something like that. You just never know. Point. But I'm looking at trading out one of the attackers this week. I'm just not sure which one yet.
Okay, let's hit there. What do you talk us through your thinking, and I'll try and convince you one way or the other.
Okay, well, I'm thinking first of all, Harvey Barnes out for who was it?
Big scoring midfielder.
Slabbersley.
Yes.
Get a Liverpool player in, hopefully.
Yes.
Either him or Rice, actually, between those two. And then it was either Mateta or Gapco for Igor Thiago.
Yes. So you've still got this big amount of cash. So you're sort of tossing up between Rice or Thiago. Is that right? And then the lower option will go the other side.
Yep.
I'd urge Rice, but I could be argued the other way. I'd be going that one. Declan has been so consistent.
Yeah, he has.
And the base numbers are the thing that are really attractive for me for guys in midfield. Like, you can get those explosions every now and then, but Bruno Guimaraes has just been sitting there for me, totting up cash.
Been doing really well for you.
And he's sat, I think I traded him in just under the 7 mil mark, and he's now just under 10 without completely exploding every week, but he's got double figures every other week for me, which has been fantastic. He's playing some superb football. And Rice very much fits in that category. He's averaging almost a point better than Bruno at the moment.
Yeah,
so
that's right. Yeah.
That's where you're looking at there. What's Brentford's fixtures, just quickly, before I completely...
Actually not bad, actually. They're playing against Leeds.
Yep.
Then they've got Wolves.
Yes.
And Bournemouth. So that's why I'm looking at that. I mean, he's projected to actually lose money this week, but I think he scores a double this week, maybe.
Yeah. I think he'll bag a couple there. Well, that's going to be interesting to look back on. Right, we were talking about my trades, and Josh King is the out because the break-even has gone, and he's lost his place in the starting side to Emil Smith-Rowe. Remember the big fella, and he was the big fella at the start of the year. But his break-even is now very, very low, down to -5 ahead of a game against Burnley. Fulham coming off that midweek performance against Manchester City where they just exploded in an attacking sense. And I think he was a real part of that. King played well in that game. It was actually when they were both on the pitch where they seemed to go well. But Smith-Rowe has now taken his starting role. And I think that's going to continue unless he picks up an injury, which could happen. That could be a quick little price grab for me to help in my ascent to Phil Foden. It'll be him or Ødegaard.
Okay.
I still think Ødegaard, I just am over-indexing on Arsenal midfielders at the moment with Rice and Marino in there as well. But we'll see. Can all of them fit in the team? How consistently can they do it? I'm edging towards Ødegaard and Marino moving out next week to try and move us up towards Phil Foden over the next week or two. Right, captaincy plays. There is an early game for Everton, but if you're really keen to wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning on Sunday, then you can potentially loop into that Arsenal versus Wolves game.
I got one more question for you, actually.
Yeah, go on. Oh, actually, you can't do it because Everton are the first game. So don't even worry. I'm talking absolute nonsense. No loops this week if you're a Harry Tyrer owner.
Thiago or Saka?
Thiago or Saka? Depends what you're looking to move. Yeah, it depends what you're looking to move. I can almost... You don't have a heap of trades left, do you? That's the other thing I'm sort of thinking about. You're sort of down to the 20-ish.
I've got 18.
18.
Yeah.
That is a very low number at this stage in the season. It's paid for you well. I'd be looking to go to keepers as much as possible. Yeah. And for that reason, I'd be saying Saka. But I can see the temptation of Thiago for the next 3 weeks and then a move off him. Oh, that would pull at the heartstrings. I'd urge you towards Saka, only because of the trade situation. But if you had more in the bank, I'd be going Thiago 3 weeks and then see what happens.
Yeah, okay. Something to think about anyway. But,
certainly is.
But for my captains, if I do bring Saka in, he'll be the VC.
Yes.
And then Haaland, I think. Yep,
Haaland's taking on Crystal Palace this weekend. Yep. It's a juicy one. I'm going to try something interesting. Knowing that Willy Saliba is potentially injured and Arsenal do have that 7 o'clock kickoff, I may end up using him as my loop option and give, this is left field, Maxime de Kuiper, who's been playing superbly as a left winger at Liverpool with everything that's happening there, the defence on its heels. I'm going to stick the vice captaincy on him because it's either that or a Chelsea asset that I don't have at the moment. Or a Liverpool player, and I'm sort of restricted. Maybe Szoboszlai could fill that role as well. But I'm thinking to Kuiper maybe as a complete left field option as the vice, and then have Declan Rice sitting there as the captain.
Okay.
because the Vice, it's the risk. It's the one you can throw up in the air and go.
Yeah, I like it. Something different.
You want the explosion. I need to keep finding my way up the rankings list, sitting just inside the top 7K at the moment. And Matty Jurman moving towards the top 2K. So you're going very nicely, mate. That's about us in terms of EPL this week. World Cup draw, just quickly before we finish. The Socceroos have the USA, Paraguay and Turkey, Slovakia, Romania or Kosovo. Your thoughts? I thought not the worst, not the best, somewhere in between.
Yeah, I mean, I think playing against the US on home soil, that'll be an exciting game.
Yes.
It'll be a very loud stadium, like obviously being playing against the home team, but I think the boys will enjoy that.
Physical game as well. Very physical friendly they played a couple of months ago.
It was. I think both teams will be looking at, quite excited to see each other again.
Knew that, yeah.
And then, I think Paraguay's a tough game.
Yeah.
We always struggle against South American teams, so that'll be a tough game. And then the European team, I think, that'll be a good matchup for us.
Hoping that Turkey and Slovakia somehow find they were knocked out.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to have Romania or Kosovo take that spot. I don't think it's going to be the case. Hopefully the Socceroos can make it through. And hopefully we've got a Supercoach World Cup to talk about. That'd be nice. I think I mentioned that a couple of weeks ago, but we'll see how we go. Hey, thank you very much for your company. It's been nice to be back with you for Game Week 16. We're almost halfway through the season. It's remarkable how quickly that will pass over the Christmas period. Hope your preparations have been good. Hope you're catching up on Stan Sport over the weekend with all the EPL action. But for Matty Jurman, myself, have a good weekend. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.